Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys 7 books that you guys need to read. These are all beautiful and amazing books. Some may have led to me shedding tears. They will break your heart in the best way possible. I have recently started getting into reading, like probably over the past year. I was never really into reading before that. Oh, I believe these are all fiction books. These books have taken me quite some time to read, but over the past month, I don't know what just happened, but I've been going through books so quickly. I think every book I read just keeps getting better and better. So majority of these books I found from TikTok, from Book Talk. My For You page is just full of book recommendations and how good these books are. So of course I had to read them and see for myself. All these books are fiction. I feel like that's my favorite genre. I'm also not going to spoil anything for you guys at all. I'm just gonna kind of explain to you guys what the book was about and my thoughts on the book. When I'm trying to choose a book to read, I don't really look at the synopsis at all. I kind of just like going into the book not knowing anything about it. It's kind of exciting for me. Just knowing that it's a great book and lots of people recommend it. And I kind of just base my opinions off the title and the cover. So the very first book I picked up is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, written by Taylor Jenskin Reid. This book I finished this morning. The twist that this book had. So when you first look at the title, you're like, 7 husbands. Okay, this is very interesting. How does this happen? I love how this book goes into detail about each husband, the purpose of the marriage, why it happened. This book has such a tragic ending, and it was such a page turner when I was reading it this morning. I could not stop. I love the writing style of this book. I feel so connected and I feel like I am there in the moment with Evelyn Hugo. This next book had me in tears. I don't know if this is good or bad, but I wanted to find a book that would make me shed tears. And this book did my voice cracked. This book did justice. I literally have teardrops in this book. Colleen Hoover's is such an amazing writer. Like it says, hearts get infiltrated, promises get broken, rules get shattered, love gets ugly. The way this book is written, you go between an alternating timeline between the past and the present of the two main characters, and then it kind of at the end it all kind of comes together and makes sense. This book had me speechless. It is so amazing and I totally recommend. The author does recommend 18+ if you are going to read it. This was the fastest book that I ever finished. I finished this in like 2 days. It usually takes me 1 week minimum to finish a book, but this book was a page turner. So amazing. I definitely need to read more of this author's books. The next book had me speechless. It is called One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. There's 5 characters and the book's going back and forth between the perspective of each character. Basically what happens is there are 5 high school students and they are all in detention and one of them dies. You're trying to figure out who is the one that is responsible for the murder of the 5th student. The one who died is responsible for the gossip site that the school had, so that just makes you more suspicious. And he was supposed to release some big gossip on all 4 of them the day after he died, but sadly that didn't end up happening. So who tried to stop him from having their secrets out in the world? You guys will find out. So this next book I'm about to share with you guys is an oldie but a goodie, and I'm sure you guys all have heard of the movie of it, and that is The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks. I had to read this book because The Notebook is one of my favorite movies. I can watch the movie a million times and still cry each time. The movie has a special place in my heart, so obviously I had to read the book. If you have never watched the movie before, basically it's this really adorable, cute couple, and sadly the wife has Alzheimer's. So the husband spends his days reading their love story to her and in hopes to get her memory back just for even a split second. I didn't know this, but Nicholas Sparks wrote the book called The Wedding, and it's just a follow-up to The Notebook, a story of their child and basically what happened in his love life. If you have read The Notebook, I recommend checking out The Wedding. I feel like it's very rare for me to cry over a book, no matter how good it is. Like Ugly Love is the only book that I have ever cried about, and I'm looking for more books that will like shatter my heart in a million pieces. So if you guys have any good recommendations, definitely leave them in the comments. So the next book I want to talk about, and I really thought this book was just going to tear me into pieces, but it sadly did not do justice, and it was an amazing book. Don't get me wrong, They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. As you can read by the title, they both die at the end. So you get a call from Deathcast, and they basically tell you that you're gonna die within 24 hours, and that is just how society is in this book. So they call you right after midnight and they say that you're gonna die within 24 hours. And they don't tell you how you're gonna die, when you're gonna die, nothing. They just say you're dying in 24 hours. Go live your life. There's these two teenage boys who meet through Deathcast because they're both gonna die at the end, and they kind of just want like a last friend, someone to do things with, and they basically build a super strong connection. And the thing that is shattering is that you know that they're both gonna die at the end, and that is just tragic. This book had such a plot twist that I was not ready for at all. It's called We Are Liars by Eloch Hart. Basically, this girl and her family go to the island every summer, and she gets amnesia. Basically, she doesn't remember what happened. There was a tragic accident and no one will tell her how it happened. She has to figure it out on her own. Then slowly things start connecting and she figures out what happened, and this book was 5 out of 5. There's this family, and I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to spoil anything, but you gotta read the book to find out the end. Every time I read a book, there's just such an amazing plot twist that I just would have never thought of. I'm like, okay, this is gonna happen, and something completely different happens, and I feel like that's what truly makes a good book for me, is that I didn't see it coming. So this next book, I have seen everywhere, many people recommending this book. This book is The Song of Achilles, written by Madeline Miller. This book is a retelling of the Greek mythology, and these two boys that kind of grow up together. So as they are a little bit more older, it is time for them to go to war, and Achilles, kind of like the main star of all of this. This book is about battle and legacy and friendship and love. If you're kind of like scared, like, oh, like a Greek mythology book, don't worry. This book kind of explains everything, and it is very well written, and I totally recommend it. If you are into Greek mythology, or if you're not, I feel like either or, you're both going to really adore this book so much. Those are my 7 reads. I hope you guys liked these books. If you guys want to see more book videos, then just let me know, because I absolutely loved making this. This is my first like booktube video I've ever made. There are like a million books that I want to read. If you guys have any good recommendations, definitely leave them down below. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end, and I will see you guys in my next video.